Okay. Welcome to chess, ladies and gentlemen. All right, cool. So we have the fourth round, and I didn't make the thumbnail. I gotta make that. Okay. I have the fourth round game between Alan Pichot of Argentina and Wesley So of the United States, formerly of the Philippines, coming at you. Wesley So is clawing his way back into the tournament. I think he's sitting in the top 3 or 4 somewhere in there. So he's in the mix. So you know, basically what these players are looking for right now is just making it to the final, the knockout rounds and stuff like that. So as long as they get into the top 8, you know, that's pretty much what they're looking at. So all of my people from the Philippines, kamusta, aking magkakaibigan. Let me see, magandang umaga or magandang hapon to you if it's morning or afternoon, wherever you're at. You know, maraming salamat. You know, for coming and checking and taking a look at my video. Appreciate you guys very much. Mabuhay to you. Ingat lagi. All of that good stuff. Any of my people that are coming from Argentina who are Spanish speaking. Muchas gracias para ver mi video. Bienvenido a mi video. You know, ¿cómo está, mis amigos? It's a good day. Buenos dias, buenos tardes, buenos noches, whatever it is when you're looking at my video. Muchas gracias. You know, todo bien aquí, para yo, para mí. Everything is good. Appreciate it very much. So yeah, if you guys are ready, let's go ahead and dive into the game. It's going to have some similarities at first, but it's going to branch off and get into some crazier waters, as you know, a lot of openings do. But making sure I got my thing turned up here. And making sure my thing is good. Bam. All right. So we have E4. We got E5, knight to F3, knight to C6, bishop to C4, bishop to C5, C3. So we have the Giuoco piano, but we have a slight variation into a little bit different water. So we have knight to F6, and then we have D4, and this is the center attack for the Giuoco pianissimo. You know, you're not playing D3. It's not that D3 is passive. It's just you're just kind of going for just some different lines, a little bit more of an attacking situation. Maybe every now and then you might come across somebody who doesn't really know how to handle it and get you a nice little victory out of it. So we have pawn takes D4. We got E5. You know, throwing that in a little intermezzo, you know, Zwischenzug move or whatever. So we have D5 coming for the bishop. Bishop to B5. We have knight to E4. Then we have pawn takes D4. Bishop to B6. We have knight to C3. And we have castles for white. So we have bishop to E3. And we have G4. So we have H3. Very common move. You know, trying to knock the bishop away. You know, we're hoping that the bishop takes, so you can take with the queen and get like a little free move and development. Queen comes to C2. We got bishop to A5. We got castles by white. Bishop takes F3. Pawn takes F3. And then we have knight to G5. And we have the novelty of the game now. And so I think, yeah, I'm not sure what the other two, there was 2 different moves that were played in this position here. I think it might have been like knight takes C3. I'm not really sure what the moves were, but like I said, knight to G5 is the first time this one has been seen. Looks pretty logical. I mean, you have this weak pawn, you have this weak pawn. So you're like, hey man, let me go ahead and just try to target something, right? But you know, the king moving up pretty much takes care of that a little bit. So the bishop takes C3, pawn takes C3. We got knight back to E6. We got F4. You know, as I showed you in the game before and just in general, you know, this is a weak pawn. So now you have a double pawn situation. So you're trying to see if you can get rid of that. If you can push F5, you'd be A-okay, because, you know, you can always just take back with the queen. You know, if you got like a pawn push or something like that. So we have F5 coming just to try to block all of that. And I mean, of course, you don't want to go like that because, I mean, just look. No, you don't want triple pawns. Like, probably in no case ever do you want some triple pawns. It's just not good. Don't do that. This is ugly. Anyway, so going back to what we had. So we have queen to A4. We got queen down to H4. We have bishop takes C6, pawn takes C6, and then we have queen takes C6. So, you know, we have white is temporarily up a pawn. Looking like, you know, they're doing okay. I mean, they do have the double attack here on F4. But you might not necessarily want to just give that rook, that knight up. So the rook comes to E8. Rook A to E8. The queen takes on D5. So actually, I mean, white looks like they're doing pretty good. So we have G5 by black. Now, if you want to go ahead and stop the video here and see if you can see the best move for white, what the best move for white is. And I will give you a hint. Alan Pichot, he does not actually find that move. It seems pretty natural. I think a majority of you guys are going to get it. And I was kind of surprised when I saw what was actually played. But yeah, like I said, if you want to stop it real quick and see what move gives white a very sizable advantage, go ahead and do that real quick. Okay, cool. So I think a majority of you guys, you know, kind of looked at, you know, pawn takes F5, pawn takes G5, sorry. Because it just kind of seems like it just does everything that you want for it to do. You know, it undamages your pawn structure, helps kind of like the pawns in front of your king. You know, I'm not sure what you do after this, to be honest with you. You know, might just back the bishop up or something like that. It's not really probably that bad of a situation. But this actually gives white a pretty nice little advantage here. Because, you know, this knight is pinned, so this knight doesn't have the ability to move, so this pawn is actually immune from capture at the moment. And then, of course, you know, if you have something like this, the bishop backs up, you know, the queen can't really take here because you're going to be running into, you know, some issues here on this back rank, or not the back rank, the file, excuse me, bam, like that. So we don't want to get into that. So in the game, after G5, Alan Pichot actually goes F3. It does kind of seem like a little bit logical because you do want to kind of stop whatever attack black might be doing. But it actually allows black to actually, you know, get a gigantic advantage immediately. But what was played in the game was actually king to H8, and that is a really, really good move. It's a really principled move by Wesley So, because, you know, you are trying to prepare, you know, for the rook to come and try to, you know, have some influence on this G file. And then, of course, you know, like the queen is going to be coming in there, and it's just going to be really nasty. What was also possible was just, let me see. No, that was something else. Okay, no, that was redoing what I had just done a second ago. Forgive that. After king to H8, we do see king to H2 by black, or by white. And this actually doesn't have the same effect as it does for black. And it gives basically black like the entire game. There's not really a way to defend against rook to B8. It's really, really nasty. I mean, even if you were to take here on A6, which is what white does, you're seeing rook coming to B2. And you're going to be having to give up a piece because, I mean, of course, there's not really anything else you can do. You can't really back up here because you're going to see queen taken here. And there's just not really a good way to stop all of the threats that black is going to be having coming through. Not that arrow, but that one. So this just shows you like the strength of like a rook on the 7th rank. You know, this pick on the 7th. Right now, this piece is like the best piece ever in the position. It's even better than the queen. No, I'm just playing. But it's nice. Anyway, so we have rook to F2. You know, you're going to have to give some material up. The rook comes on F2 with check. The bishop takes, and then we have the queen taking on F2. And this just starts like, I mean, it already started, but this just continues to just start like the further process of like white actually just getting like all their pieces ate up. So we see king to H1, queen comes to F3 with check. Queen takes F3 with check. King comes back to H2. We see queen takes F4 with check. King comes down to H1. We see queen to F3 again. King comes back to H2, and then we see G4. So, I mean, everything is pretty equal, but this king is like sad. I mean, if I could put little teardrops on the king, that's what I would do. Because the king is sad. The king is crying. Like, look, I'm sad. I don't want to be right here. Anyway, cracking myself up. So we have pawn takes G4, pawn takes F4, pawn takes G4, and we have queen to H6. Trying to give a little counter attack, but then also trying to see if we can, like, you know, protect checkmate coming up, check, all of that stuff. But unfortunately, we have G3 with check. King comes to H3. We're looking at rook to F5, and you can see that this king is crying some more. It's like, you know, I don't want to be here. Like, let me be over here or something, or let me something, just anything other than what's going on. And actually, that was what was played in the game. I accidentally clicked that, but that's what was played in the game. Because we have to prevent the checkmate here, and, you know, winning the queen and stuff like that. We don't want to do that. So the rook comes to F4 with check. We see king to H3. We see queen to G4 with check. We see king to G2. We see queen down to e2 with check. We see king taking g3. We see rook to f3 with check. And this is actually the position that Alan Pichot actually resigns the game because basically pick your checkmate. Like, how do you want to get checkmated? So let's take the quickest possible action, right? The king comes to g4. You got queen to g2 with check. King comes to h5 or h4, whichever one. And then now you have checkmate. Or if you want to put it off a little bit farther, you're going to go king to h4. The queen's going to come to h2 with check. King's going to come to g5. Queen's going to come to h4 with check. King going to h5. And then we see rook to h3 with checkmate. There was also, just throwing this in there, there's also this, which ends up pretty much being the same thing. You are in a mating net, and that is not where you want to be when you're playing chess. Don't get in mating nets, guys. Don't do that. Anyway, it was a time, I mean, backing it up to the position that we had, you know, as we went down a little bit, this position here, this was highly critical situation for both players. Basically, if you had a situation where you took here, that was a critical situation. And then also, you know, white actually taking here as well. That was kind of like the critical moment of the game where it really could have went either way, like crazily either way. So, but yeah, that was a really nice game by Wesley. So, you know, he was able to kind of climb back into the mix. He's doing his thing. And let me check here. He is, oh, okay. So yeah, they haven't finished the, okay. They did finish it. Well, he's still doing pretty good. He's still doing pretty good. He's in the mix. But I appreciate you guys coming by. Muchas gracias, mis amigos, for coming by. You know, Maraming Salamat, Akim Magay Kabagan, and Pa'alam. Mabuhay to you guys. And I will see you guys next time. I appreciate it.